What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of the PlayStation Drive. This is going to be the 59th road trip that we're going on today. My name is Matt. I'll be your host for this wonderful adventurous events. I'm joined, as always, by Captain Canada himself, Mr. Court Lalonde. What's going on, my dude?
Not much. It's a busy week in video games. I can't believe I'm gonna say that. It's like I've had a hard time playing MLB The Show this week. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, seriously. And even today, I got a new game for my friends over at Outright Games to play with my kid tonight.
There you go.
That launched today. It's DC Super Pets. DC Super Pets. Yeah, that's it. It's got a Superman dog and Crypto. Yeah, yep. See, and then the Batman dog. Yeah, and then dog. I think it's got a Wonder Woman pig and a Green Lantern squirrel. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. It's a movie that I guess is launching next week. Yeah. So it's a movie-based game.
I can't wait to hear your review on the show next week, dude. I'm sure your daughter's going to love it, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it as well. But before we get any further into this, let us clean the garage because we got stuff to talk about. If you're watching us over here on youtube.com/Carpool Gaming live right now every Friday, well, usually every Friday at 1 p.m., unless some other things happen, we are live right here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Ring that bell. Do a whole bunch of stuff because it is awesome. It helps us grow and it helps us find way more people. If you have bucks to toss, a little bit of extra money in that piggy bank, join us over at patreon.com/Carpool Gaming, where if you toss a couple of bucks in that old tip jar, out comes a mountain, a plethora, a cornucopia, some would say, of content for you to enjoy, consume, and it helps us do things even better and brighter than before. And if you're listening to us over on the podcast service of your choice, please hit us with that like, that follow, those 5-star reviews. Once again, they help us find even more people so that I can prattle on about Persona and Mega Man Battle Network, and more people will suffer through it. But on this week's show, we're going to be talking all about, God of War, again, PlayStation Stars, and much, much more. So strap in because we're about to get kicking. But before we do, dude, as we start this ride, as you know, every good road trip needs a good playlist, my friend. So Court, let's slap that 8-track in. What have you been playing?
Well, as always, I've been playing MLB The Show. And, yeah, I know.
I gasped too hard.
Friend of the show, Bobby Miller, and I have been we've been chatting back and forth in DMs about this game. And this week, for people that play this game, Sony first party, if you have it on Xbox and PlayStation, there is a pack lot that you can claim and get a bunch of free packs and get a bunch of free stuff for the game. So it's kind of cool. I have also been playing. This is gonna sound like, bougie. I've been playing a game I can't talk about, and
the squirrel game.
Yes. I guess that's what Sean called it. Yes, yeah. The squirrel game. But you'll hear more about that game. And then I've also been playing DC Super Pets, and because of you, I purposely go out there and find a new game to play because of this question. So you know what I started playing again on my PS5? Mad Max.
Okay.
Because I never finished it the last time. So I started playing it on my PS4. Yeah, it was PS4, wasn't it? That's a PS4 release.
It's a PS4 release.
And so I started playing it again. I still am playing about, 2 hours a week of Kingdom of Amalur. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I started Mad Max.
Nice,
so
dude.
I've got all these things, and now I'm almost wanting to stop playing games because of something we're going to talk about this week, so that I can accumulate points. But we'll see.
We'll get into that. So hold on, are you a Mad Max fan? I tried to get into it,
yes,
and I didn't really vibe with it. But are you enjoying the game? Returning to it?
I think the game is phenomenal. It's one of those games where it's funny how we talk about remakes and so on and so forth. Now when I play some of those previous first gen, I would call PlayStation 4 games. Not The Last of Us. Yeah. Not Horizon. The stuff that was early on that were released on the PlayStation 4. I look at these games and go, man, wouldn't they look beautiful in 4K, 60? Like, wow. Give me some, updated graphics, because I look at a game like Forza with the car and the racing through the desert, and then I play Mad Max, and there's a lot of car racing in it, and I'm like, ooh, it would look beautiful.
It would look beautiful.
Yeah, so I am all for remakes and remasters. I don't care what anybody says. I will pay for them. I will do them.
Yeah, Mad Max would be beautiful. It's like, look over here, sand. Look over there, more sand. Over there, still sand. It would look incredible, dude.
Hey, Origins looks great. Wait, Origins is on PlayStation Plus, and you got the 60 frames per second. Mm-hmm. It looks great.
I'm sure it does. Anyways, as for myself, I finished Yakuza 3 over the weekend. I absolutely adored it. That game is like the black sheep out of the Yakuza family, just because there's a good chunk of it. I would say probably 30 to 40% that takes place in Okinawa instead of in Kamurocho, and you're playing as Kiryu with an orphanage that you're running. So a lot of the game puts the focus on the kids and making sure, like, you know, dealing with bullying, dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. And it's actually like super well done and has such an emotional heart to it that I just absolutely loved. Definitely shows its age the most out of the rest of the ones that I've played so far, but absolutely loved it. Highly recommend for anybody who's getting into it. Yakuza 0, I think, is still on sale. I literally picked up Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 6 again, because Yakuza 0 was like $4 and Yakuza 6 was like $6, and I was like, all right.
And I believe it's on sale in both stores.
There you go.
Because I think it's in sale Xbox and PlayStation right now.
So listen up. There's no reason you can't play either one of these games. Just don't buy a Starbucks coffee for
Seriously,
one day.
You're not wrong.
And play Yakuza 0, okay? If that game gets you, you're screwed. You're going to be playing the rest of them like it happened to me. Now I've rebought 0 so I can play it again before I get to 6. And I downloaded 4 now that I'm done 3. I just live in Yakuza now, and I'm really not that upset about it. I also finished Heaven's Word in Final Fantasy 14. Finally done that expansion, 100% complete. Starting to work my way through the patch content now to get to Stormblood. Court, I have a quick question. When I'm talking about some of these things, how many of these words actually register? Because I sit there, I see you trying to understand, but like, give me percentage-wise. How much of this makes sense?
I will be honest. Final Fantasy, I understand.
Okay.
But I don't understand anything new. Like I said, I loved Final Fantasy 7. I'm playing the remaster. I love it. I just want more content of it. That is a game that is truly's got a. When I look at that PlayStation 1 behind me, and that'll be a conversation later, that is the game when I think of the PlayStation 1. It's synonymous with the console. Even Yakuza, I know what Yakuza is. I don't like turn-based games.
But Yakuza 0 through 6 are not turn-based, but they're not turn-based.
So I know, but they're a little...
They're all action, dude. They're like Final Fantasy 7. They're all brawling in the streets, beating the crap out of people.
With like babies and shopping carts and stuff.
The shopping carts, maybe. Not babies, though. You don't...
Yeah, I heard... It's weird. I don't know. I don't know what it is about any JRPGs or any... They don't vibe with me. I don't know what it is. What was totally that game, though, that really did? Stranglehold or... No, I can't remember what it was called.
The John Woo shooting game?
Well, no, I love that game, but there was one where you were an undercover cop in
Sleeping Dogs.
China. I love that game.
Sleeping Dogs was more Grand Theft Auto than anything else, but that game, is incredible.
Unbelievable. Probably better than I finished it now. It was the very first game that I played when I got my Xbox Series X. It was on sale for $4 in the Xbox store. So on like PlayStation 5, I played Astrobot, which is still, I don't know, one of the best games on the PlayStation 5, like for sure.
Yep.
And then I remember playing Sleeping Dogs again, and I have finished that on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, and Xbox Series X.
Dang.
And you know what? I'm pretty sure I'm going to go finish it on the PlayStation 5. I have to think the amount of times I've finished this game, it's got to be one of my favorite games of all time. Because I just love the story. I love the city, how it's not as big. So you don't have, it doesn't take you an hour to get around the map, but it's still alive, and there's these like different corners, and you get the different shrines, and I love the action and the fighting in it, and I love going to the dojo to level up your character. Like, there's a lot about that game that is just like, it's like a warm hug. It does all the mechanics properly. It's like when Ghost of Tsushima came out, and for all of Assassin's Creed fans, we played that game, and we're like, well, you just made the best Assassin's Creed ever. I'm done.
Now you're making me want to play Sleeping Dogs again, because I also really, really love that game. Isn't like Emma Stone in it? Am I remembering this properly?
Maybe.
Isn't she like, don't you like go on a date with her? Hold on, Emma Stone, Sleeping
I think you
Dogs.
might.
Right? Yes.
I think you're right.
She is in the game. That, I don't know, it's one of those random things that stuck with me in my mind. But yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll pick it back up and I'll play through it again. Because it was
the
classic.
Updated version that you can play right now, it's still great. And it's so cheap to get. Like, I'm sure in the PlayStation Store and regardless, we're a PlayStation in the PlayStation Store.
The PlayStation Store.
I would assume this game is not expensive, like $20 maybe.
Let's find out.
And it's a good, 14 hours of your life that you'll be like, I'm happy about.
Yeah, I couldn't, drive
Well,
around and stuff.
look, it's something PlayStation does great. You're able to go on your phone right now
Yep.
and go buy this game when, as someone that plays on both consoles, you can't do that on Xbox. You got to like go on the web page and then go find the game, and the store is very convoluted and very hard to use. Heck, the last weekend, I couldn't play any video games, so it was just like,
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, I'm trying to I need to sign in again. Apparently, it didn't save my log. Oh, there we go. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Sleeping Dogs. Because now I'm curious. I'm pulling a Sean Capri here and buying
that's
games
okay.
live on the Sleeping Dogs
like I
Definitive
said,
Edition.
there's also, I can talk about it right now while you're doing that. We can talk about how today they announced the pre-orders for God of War Ragnarok.
Yo, this is $40. Sleeping Dogs is
Wow.
$40.
Oh, I'd
Well,
wait.
That's a wait for sale. Yeah,
that's a wait for
That's
sale.
a wait for sale.
It's definitely
I
a wait
love
for
the
sale.
game. I love the game, but I'm not going to
Yes.
pay $40 for it Canadian because that's like I don't know, like $6 American, I think, roughly. If you
It's cheaper on Xbox.
okay, that's good. I'll take a look later. But yeah, that's a great. Let's slam the brakes because we are going to get into some breaking news, which you just touched on. Let's start off there. Yeah, the God of War pre-orders are up. You can get them if they're not already entirely gone for the collectors and the Jotnar editions. Let's bring Kevin into the car because he does have a question about this, aka the Muffin Mon, our friend over at Save the Game Media. Did either of you snag one of the God of War Ragnarok special editions? I see scalpers already selling the Jotnar edition for $1,000. Court?
I did not. They are not available. I will also say, we'll be reviewing this game. So I was on the fence. This was literally one of those ones that I brought to my wife and was like, "Is this okay if I spend this much money on a on a Mjolnir?" And she was like, "Excuse me?" She didn't even understand. I'm like, "Thor's hammer. Can I buy Thor's hammer?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Fair enough." But the good news is for those Carpool gaming fans out there, Ryan Turford has snagged himself a collector's edition, so we will be getting an unboxing. We'll get to see this thing. I really wanted it.
I know.
Really wanted it, but in a trade-off, what my wife is allowing me to do is go buy the Mjolnir Lego. Yeah, I can't. Whatever. So and play with and put it together with my daughter. She's like, well, and I was because it's the same price. So she's like, why don't you go buy that, and then at least you can do that with your daughter, and you can get some daddy-daughter time. And I'm like, honey, you speak in my language.
Yep.
And for the people on this show, I do have a PlayStation 5 that is supposed to arrive today. And my wife has allowed me to get a TV for my office. So I'm soon going to...
Did you pick one out yet?
No, well, I'm going to go to Best Buy. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I want an OLED, but it just has to be 4K 120.
I'm hearing incredible things about the Hisense TVs. I know that there's a lot of love from the Carpool Gaming Canadian community because they are a Canadian brand and they are a smaller guy. And I'm hearing great things about those TVs. Just throwing that out there. You do with that.
I messaged them and they came back to me, and that laser TV, I was like, I don't need a giant one though. So my issue is I only need like a 42 inch.
I think you should get like an 85 inch.
Okay. Yeah, it's not gonna happen, but it's allowed now, so it's probably gonna happen. I was almost gonna get a new camera for the show, but then I decided maybe since I got the PS5, maybe
treat yourself. Yeah, no. So I also wanted it, dude. I kept looking at it. We got confirmed pricing from PlayStation as well. So the Canadian pricing is the PS4 is all the standard edition is $79.99, PS5 is $89.99, collector's edition is $249.99 Canadian, while the Jotnar edition is $329.99 Canadian. Yeah, there's just things going on in life that like I can't justify spending $250 on the collector's edition as badly as I want it. It does look sick. It is no knock on the quality of the collector's edition. It's just too much for me at this point in time. So I am going to be, watching it with bated breath, and I can't wait to see Ryan's unboxing. But yeah, let us know in the comments. Did you pick up any of them? Did you snag a pre-order? Let us know what you got in the chat right now. If you have opinions, if you got it, let us know. Let's mosey on over to our next story because boy, is it an interesting one. PlayStation Stars is coming later this year. This is coming from the PlayStation blog itself, written by Grace Chen. Throughout our company's 27-year history, we have been continually moved by how meaningful gaming experiences can create lifelong memories for players. All of us at PlayStation take special joy in creating unique products and experiences that delight our fans. Today, I'm pleased to reveal PlayStation Stars, a brand new loyalty program that celebrates you, the player, for being on this ever-growing gaming journey with us. PlayStation Stars will be free to join when it launches later this year. Once you become a member, you'll earn rewards by completing a variety of campaigns activities. There's going to be tournaments, there's going to be monthly check-ins, there's going to be trophy-specific stuff, or even being the first player to platinum a blockbuster title in your local time zone. What do you get for all this stuff? You get points, Court! You get loyalty points that you can use to redeem for PSN wallet funds and select PlayStation Store products. An additional benefit, you can also get digital collectibles, which they very quickly turned around and said, not NFTs. These are not NFTs. I
would think it's like, profile photos and so on. And
yeah,
so forth.
they very, very quickly turned around and said, no. You cannot trade these. You cannot sell these. This is not an NFT by any stretch of the imagination, which I'm very glad they cleared up. But it looks like we're getting a PlayStation loyalty program called PlayStation Stars Court. What do you think? Because we've been asking for more ways for them to interact with the community. What are your thoughts?
As someone that uses the Microsoft Rewards a lot, I think this is fantastic. I got a custom controller for my daughter just based on Microsoft Reward points.
Nice.
I will be all over this. I'm hoping it's not like, I know with Microsoft Rewards for a while there, I was collecting them a lot and then I kind of like fell off. It was kind of funny. Sean said that would happen and then it happened like literally the next week. I was like, why is he always right? But he could be right sometimes. It's fine. But
we got to stroke his ego a bit.
I do think this is the first one that's going to be available to Canada. They had some sort of loyalty program before in the US, but we have confirmation on the internet this 100% will be available in Canada. I think this is great. They're rewarding you for doing the thing that you're already doing, and I'm all for it. I don't see this being a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. Yes, people will get into they're collecting your data and all that. Yeah, they were doing that anyway.
Yeah,
so
it's already happening. I agree with you. I think this is really cool. I love that this is finally coming because, like you said, us Canadians here have gotten the shaft of more than once with some of these rewards programs, and that's not PlayStation specific. That's across the gaming community as a whole. So I'm glad that this is confirmed coming to Canada. We're going to get to interact with this. I'm curious to see what it's going to look like as it kind of takes shape, because they've said that they are still working out the details of what exactly it'll look like. But I think it's super cool. Am I ever going to chase a platinum to be the first one in my region to do so? Not a chance. But I'm excited to see who it will be. I hope they put that out there because I think that's cool. You are? Yeah?
I'm 100%. Especially if we're we get the game early and I'm like, I'm gonna I don't want to let Steve Igvari, who's in this chat, I want to be better. I'm better than him, so I want to let him know that I'm better than him.
Yeah,
at all
you want
times.
everyone to know that you're better than him. I feel that. Yes. I don't know. Maybe if it's for a super specific game, like maybe for Spider-Man 2, I'll gun for it and see if I could be the one and the only. But yeah, I'm curious to see what kind, how the points will translate into actual funds. I'm curious about the digital collectibles, especially with the PS5. You can't really interact with anything too much. There's no themes outside of, you have your avatar still, but there isn't as much. So hopefully this is a sign of things to come.
Hey, are we going to get themes?
Are we going to get themes? That'd be cool.
I would like themes.
I would like themes. I would want themes. I think this is awesome. I think it's just a great way to kind of engage with the community a little bit more. Coming this year, we'll find out more as we get closer. We'll keep you eyes locked up into the stars as we find out more. Let's move on to our next story, Mr. Court.
I see you, Steve.
Right? Need to stroke that ego, eh? Challenge accepted. Let's go, Big Vari. Get him. And we also have Steve in the chat saying that he got his hammer baby. So we got our first confirmation of another collector's edition out in our friendly fun
can we get Ryan
community.
and Steve to have a hammer fight?
Ooh. I feel like that would be funny for us and not so funny for them. And then
I feel like it wouldn't be so funny for Ryan because I have my money on Steve here.
You know what?
He may be the tech from the specs, but he looks like you know what? There you go. So you got Ryan. I got Ryan. Steve.
I think Ryan would come out swinging, dude. And the thing is, what I really hope is that they knock each other out, and then you and I have a couple of hammers that we can walk away with, and we benefit.
Well played.
I'm saying.
Fair enough.
Our next story, Court, something that we have been asking for week after week for quite a while, we finally have our PlayStation Plus game catalog lineup for July. Starting on July 19th for the extra category, for extra and premium, but specifically for extra as well. We're getting Stray, both PS4 and PS5 editions. We're getting Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which obviously includes the Yuffie intermission. That's only on PS5, so make sure you're aware of that. Marvel's Avengers is coming to PS4 and PS5. Woo! And then we get a more coming, like Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered, Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, Assassin's Creed the Ezio Collection, Saints Row 4 Re-Elected, Saints Row God Out of the Hell, Spirit of the North Enhanced Edition, Ice Age Scratch, Nutty Adventure, Jumanji the video game, Paw Patrol on a Roll, and Ready Set Heroes. All of those except for Spirit of the North Enhanced Edition are for PS4. Spirit of the North is PS5. And for the premium members as well, the Classics catalog, we're getting No Heroes Allowed, which is a PSP game, and Loco Roco Midnight Carnival, which is also a PSP game. Court, we finally got a list. How you feeling about it?
I'm looking at the value. Like, I get it. For like me, all those Assassin's Creed games, I've played them already. But you know what? I played them back when I didn't buy digital games and I bought them all physical. I don't have them anymore. Black Flag to me is that one Assassin's Creed game where I'm like, I just want Ubisoft to do an announcement and then talk about, oh, here's my new Assassin's Creed game, and it is a remaster of Black Flag, and I get to play that game again, like totally 120 frames, 4K. That one of the best Assassin's Creed games ever to be made. But I think there's some great value here. We always take it to granted. We look at it and we're like, we played that game, but you got to remember, every 10 years, someone hasn't played that game before. So there's a lot of value here. Stray, day and date. I'm extremely excited for that game.
Likewise.
There's been a lot of great indie games that have come out, and this looks like another one that's about to come out. I see it as a good thing, and I also really, 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 really want to stress, thank you for the communication, PlayStation. Thank you for letting us know. And thank you for doing the same thing that Xbox does every second Tuesday. Xbox puts out a, hey, here's what's coming to Game Pass. It looks like PlayStation is just going, here's what's coming for the month, but I'll take it. Because as someone that does content creation and as someone that's listening, this stuff is imperative. Like, if you want people to get into these services, which I'm a big backer of these services, I live in that all digital world. It is what it is. I think this is fantastic.
Yeah,
I truly do. And I love the Ubisoft games.
I'm with you, dude. I think Stray being on here is just a slam dunk. There's already apparently a trophy that leaked that says you can finish, like, there's a trophy for finishing it under 2 hours. So I'm expecting like a 4 to 6 hour fantastic adventure. It's honestly one of my most anticipated games this year. Like, I'm really, really excited to be the little cat in that little cyberpunk world. Intergrade is fantastic. I know a lot of people were a little hesitant to pick up the upgrade, so I'm glad that it is available for people now on the service, because the Yuffie DLC is fantastic. She is so much fun to play as. That game is so good, so I'm excited that people will be able to jump in. Avengers, whatever. We just got more content for it. There's evidently.
Are we getting the DLC though? Like that's
yeah.
That would frustrate me.
It's all free.
I would assume we are, because like Xbox, you get all of it, right?
Yeah.
You get anytime there's new DLC, just you get it.
Yeah, because I mean, all the Avengers DLC has been free, so I would be absolutely shocked if it wasn't there.
And we're getting the PS5 version. That was one of our biggest gripes when we first heard about the PlayStation Plus. When we're like, why are we not getting the PS5 version of Spider-Man? And for you trophy hunters out there, Paw Patrol. Pop that in, give it your 4 hours, and get your platinum. Okay,
there you go.
Just go get your platinum. Gamer Graham, go get your platinum.
There you go. Go grab it. Yeah, and I think this is a really great list. I hope we get another one of these alongside the Essential tier for August, because they were talking about multiple refreshes in a month. So I'm hoping that this is going to be kind of the standard moving forward. I think this is a great way to come out swinging out of the gate for what their first real update is. So I'm really happy with this. Except, I think this is a massive flag showing why Extra is right now more worth it than Premium. The Premium add-ons being 2 PSP games that I don't know how many people are really that excited about. That, to me, is a bit of a weak offering on the Premium side of it. But I don't know. Am I off base here?
Nope. As someone that has the whole package, the whole shebang, I don't play. I tried Siphon Filter, and you know what I felt about it. I was like,
likewise.
Ooh.
Yep.
But still, I know for a fact, if I Infamous, I loved playing, going back and playing, and I would love to go back and play the Sly Coopers again. But those aren't there. Sly Cooper ain't there.
Yeah.
So choices have been made. Obviously, we're going to get them later because they originally, the Sly Coopers were in the old PlayStation Now.
Yep.
So we're going to get those games. It's just, I don't know, man. It's like they're really pumping the extra, which is great.
Yep.
But just leaving the other one in the past. As we said when they first brought this out, I didn't like this huge tier system. Like, just give me 2 tiers. Like, you got Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate.
Yep.
I think that people are so used to that 2-tier system. And it's tough because if you're just going to be putting out this stuff, you're going to be might as well just compare it to games with gold.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I have an issue with both of the games listed and the amount of games coming to premium. Extra, again, is its own thing. Very happy with the way Extra's shaping up. I think they need to put more into premium outside of 2 PSP games in a month, because that will be the only things coming to the premium tier for the entire month of July. So I feel like with the back catalog what they have across PS1, PS2, PSP, PS3, and the Vita, like there should be more here. I'm not expecting like 10 to 15 games, but I think 5 games should not be out of the wheelhouse spread across all of those consoles.
We got some breaking news from the chat. The Bungie acquisition is final. Mm-hmm. So talking about this service right now, I wonder what we're getting next month. I have to funny kind of think we're getting Destiny and all the DLC. Like, let's be real here. I would be very disappointed if they don't, as it's a free-to-play game. This is the service. It used to be all that DLC. Everything was always on Xbox. You just purchased them. PlayStation, please. Just give me all the Destiny.
Yeah.
Just give it all. Give it all.
I would go back to it. I really would. I loved Destiny 2 when it came out. I finished like the initial campaign, and it just, I don't know, the state of the game now is interesting with the subscription service and everything else. So
and the single player campaign being gone.
Yeah, so that's what I mean.
Choices were made.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see more as what happens with the premium tier. But let's get into the acquisitions, because we have double acquisition news, which Court just touched on. The first one, which let's keep it rolling with this. Bungie has been finalized. They can finally say welcome to the PlayStation family. It is 100% gone through. The agreement is closed. So like you said, Court, do you think it is as imminent as next month that we'll see Destiny? Because I don't think we're going to see it for like 6 months. Like, I think this is going to be something that they'll bring out eventually. I just don't know if it'll be now.
Given PlayStation's track record, no. I want it to be next month.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at what's coming out for them. So they start. We don't know when Hogwarts Legacy is coming, and they're putting ads behind that. So that's going to be technically like a PlayStation considered game, even though it's not a PlayStation exclusive. Mm-hmm. When you do ads behind something, we look at that as a PlayStation game. We know Forspoken isn't coming. We know when God of War is coming. Mm-hmm. So technically for me, and I guess technically for PlayStation, they have that time frame. Like, they can put it out in between then, and that can be their beat for the month. Hey, all the Destiny stuff is now on PlayStation Plus, which is not to shake a stick at, because that's huge.
Yep.
So if you already have this month where you have all this Ubisoft content and you have Stray, then I guess you could technically wait for next month or the month after. But given that August being such a slow month, I would think you'd try and do it as quickly as possible. And if you can get it out for August, I think that would be a huge win for PlayStation to keep that conversation and say, hey, all you people that haven't played Destiny 2 or you want that shooter game to go play, like, here's one for you. Come play.
I agree with you, and I would love for that to be the case. I just don't know if they're going to move that quickly. I mean, we knew this deal was happening for a while. We knew that they would have had time to prepare, and I'm sure that they were feeling bullish about the deal as well. I don't see any reason why it would have fallen through. But my biggest question, though, is just because, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not entirely up to date on where Destiny 2 is at right now. Do you think PlayStation owners who are playing it through the service would have to pay the subscription fee? Do you think that there would be an incentive for like a cheaper subscription?
I think if you've already purchased the game, then no, it doesn't matter, because that's the same thing that happens on Game Pass. So if a game is on Game Pass, you can buy the game cheaper, but if you already own it, you already own it. Like, so if you're already an owner of Destiny 2 and you have all the DLC, it is what it is. You know, if it all comes to PlayStation Plus, you ain't getting your money back. You know, c'est la vie. It's it's gone. But for anybody future, I would think for those people playing, they'd be more than happy to have more concurrent players playing that game. The more players that play their game that they love, the more stuff that comes to the game they love, right? Mm-hmm. It is what it is. So if you're PlayStation, I think a smart play would be to put it all in there for now, and then, yes, the DLC in the future, you pay for it. But once you get people in there and they're hooked, they're going to pay for that DLC, and then, pull the Disney Plus thing where 6 months down the road, you can announce, or 7 months down, that DLC is coming to the service, right?
Yeah.
You could do that kind of stuff. this is not like a God of War and such that we know is not going to come day and date. This is a free to play game where it's just DLC, where they could do that 6-month window where they're like, hey, you can pay for it now, but you can know that it's coming for free. But like, if you want to jump in with everybody right now, this game that we've given you and we've got you into and you're hooked now, yeah, you're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to shake out, because I do think that if they give us all the DLC for free, because again, like, I'm not exactly sure what the subscription is for or how it exactly works, so I'll read up on that for next week. But I'm curious to see when and if it's coming, because you'd have to imagine it will. You have to imagine that they're going to roll all this out on the extra service at some point in time. But we will see when. The next acquisition, Haven Studios. The acquisition has also been finalized. This was first announced back in March, and it has officially gone through. And we got the extra bit of information that Mark Cerny is actually working alongside Jade Raymond and Haven Studios. So we got, this is coming from IGN.
Knack 3?
Knack 3, baby.
Knack 3
Live.
baby.
Yo, Knack Online. We know they're working on live service games. This is coming from George Yang over at IGN. PlayStation 4 and 5 lead system architect Mark Cerny is working with Jade Raymond Studio Haven on research and development. In an interview with Games Industry, Raymond said that Haven has significantly increased its investment in both R&D and cloud development. As a result, Cerny has taken notice of the studio's work. So we do know that they're working towards a live service game. We do know PlayStation has a whole plan for 10 live service games by 2026. And we now see Mark Cerny jumping in with, somebody with the caliber that Jade Raymond has and Haven Studios. I'm curious to see what this is going to shake out of and how this is going to look. But, Court, I have a question for you. If you in your mind's eye could ask Jade Raymond, I know you're making a live service game, I know your pedigree with Assassin's Creed and so much more, what would you want out of Haven Studios' live service game now that they're officially part of PlayStation?
See, once you said Assassin's Creed, my mind's going to go there no matter what.
Right.
But we know we're getting Assassin's Creed Infinity. I think that's what they're going to call it.
Yeah.
That's what the rumor is or such. But like Ubisoft is not denying this one. We're getting a live service Assassin's Creed game.
Yep.
So I would like to see something along the lines of stealth, action, always online, like more of a, not Hitman, because I'm not a fan as much as everybody would think of the Hitman series, but more of a good story, a story that progresses so that you can do the battle pass, but at the same time you're doing stealth, espionage, but not like you're taking out someone like every 2 seconds. Something along the lines of that, like almost like a siphon filter, but something along those lines. But I want it to be, it's PlayStation, so third-person action.
Yeah, and I also want it to be set in like present day or future.
Yes.
Like, I don't want any past history stuff. Like, we got that with Assassin's Creed. I think there'd be too many comparisons made if they tried to go in that direction. I think like the Siphon Filter, Splinter Cell, Hitman kind of espionage spy area is a really interesting call, and I think would be really cool. Especially, you can easily set up a lot of different modes, even like the Spies and Mercenaries mode that we had in Splinter Cell. Things like that would translate really easily to this kind of thing. Do you, on your way in, when you're making the game, do you choose are you on the spy side or the mercenary side? Is there like an active live service element there where, depending on the amount of spies or mercenaries that complete a certain mission, then, things can change in a certain district of the city? I would love for them to go in that direction, bring in like the Fortnite map changing elements and kind of tie it all together under Jade Raymond's ability to put together fantastic games. But I think Steve has the right answer in the chat with Knack MMORPG or Don't Bother.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Knack is one of the best games ever in the history of video games. So we need to cherish and make more of Knack.
See, what I want is like the Sonic, not Sonic Frontiers, because that's a new one. What was the Sonic Forces? Let me make my own Knack, right? Let me make my own Knack Sona, and let me live in the world of Knack, and I think the game would be perfect. Game of the generation. Shut it all down. Video games are over.
Hey,
we have the perfect one.
If you really want to do it, go to Studio Japan, ask for Astrobot, and make a live service Astrobot game.
Now we talking. Different PlayStation words. Give me Kingdom Hearts, but PlayStation Worlds and Astrobot.
Jesus, just go to Disney and say, hey, we want to make you money.
Right.
And we're not going to do it like Square Enix. We're actually going to do it properly.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. We're still probably a ways out of seeing what Haven Studios is working on, but get hyped because we will find out in the future.
Canadian.
Let's let some of our friends into the car because we've got questions that need some answering. Coming from Nagachaka over on Twitter. In 2018, God of War sold 3 million copies in its first 3 days. How many copies do you think Ragnarok will sell? Will it beat The Last of Us Part 2, which sold 4 million copies in its first 3 days? What do you think, Court?
Yes.
Yeah?
So, but I don't think it's going to be much. I think it's going to be like that 5-6 million in the first 3 days.
Yep.
As much as we love our first party titles from Sony, it never really translates to what we think it's always going to be. But I think this will be one of their biggest launches. There's so many PS5s in the wild. There's so many people that they just gave God of War. Like I said before, you never know how many people haven't played this game. And so many people just got PlayStation Plus and they got God of War now and they're playing it. And then there's the people that got to play it on PC. I think there's a bigger audience for this game because when God of War came out the last time, we didn't really know what to expect.
Yep.
And then we were all blown away and we're like, wow, this wasn't the hack and slash God of War that we all remember from back in the day. This was some serious, awesome storytelling with some character development and some touching moments. So I expect this game to be one of their biggest sellers.
I'm with you. I think that between the hype for, Ragnarok, the amount of mainstream that I think probably has bought into this game in the last few years, because even I feel like with God of War being a name that a lot of people know of from the PS2 generation, regardless of how much they may have played it, I'm sure people were familiar with the name, and then hearing about how this one is one of the best games of all time. I think you're right. I think that 5 to 6 million is probably where it's going to hit, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes as high as like 7 or 8. I think their potential is there. I think it depends on how they continue to market the game. Well, start to market the game really hard in the next few months leading up to launch. I think it does have the potential to be one of those games that's like sold out everywhere for its first few days as you kind of try and buy it. Similarly to even like what Animal Crossing was. There isn't anything huge else around it within that couple week span. There are rumblings of some Ubisoft stuff, and there are obviously.
We know there is a Ubisoft game, but
yeah,
man, I feel so bad for Skull and Bones.
See you later.
I truly do.
I honestly forgot it was coming out that time already.
It's coming out the same week, man. The worst part is, like I said, Black Flag is one of my favorite games. So I was actually like in the minority, and I was hyped for this game. I really enjoyed the seafaring battles and so on and so forth. So I was excited for this game, and I saw a lot of potential in this game, but. I feel like it was in development hell and it's going to take a while. And they're just like, you know what, we'll put it out. And think about it. They're not just putting it out then. They've had this release date for probably forever. They originally also thought Starfield was coming out at the same time.
Yep.
So like, Jesus.
Yeah. I think that like 5 to 6 is safe. I think it could go as high as 7 or 8. But we will see as we get closer to launch. Our next question coming from Game Positive at Game Positive YT over on Twitter. Court, what is your favorite PS1 game?
So I kind of alluded to this already, and it would shock everybody that, but the game I played the most is NHL 94. But when I look at that PS1 and I think about the PlayStation 1 and what it means to me and the great memories, it's Final Fantasy 7 all day, every day. Like that was the one game where, like I said, we played it so much that we had to buy it again because the laser couldn't read the disc anymore.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. I didn't get into Final Fantasy at that generation. I wish I did. For me, like the Crash, the Spyros are like some of my favorites. But when I think of the PS1, the first game that comes to mind is Digimon World 2. I loved that game. I spent so much time with that game, being able to pick your Digimon, get new ones. They took the Pokemon strategy. What's up, Baron? And just doing all that kind of stuff and just letting you build your team. I have such fond memories of that game, and I think it's probably the game I played the most on PS1. That game was fantastic. Our next question coming from our Discord, which, by the way, if you want to join, it is in the show notes, and you can hit us with questions there on Twitter or on YouTube, and we will answer them like TPR did. Which game ends up with a higher Open Critics score? The Last of Us Remake or God of War Ragnarok? Not necessarily which game will be better, but just review better. Because TPR is leaning towards The Last of Us Remake.
So the reason why I won't say is because of the review bombing that Last of Us 2 received. And I think that you're still going to see those petty, whiny...
But let's go off critic reviews. Not audience reviews.
Okay, so then the Last of Us destroys.
Nope. I think God of War is going to wreck it.
All right.
I see.
How about we'll have a
pizza bet.
Yeah,
Winner.
I'm lactose intolerant.
Not pizza then.
Swiss chalet bet.
Swiss chalet bet.
Ooh,
Swiss
there we
chalet
go.
bet. Here we go. Okay, Swiss chalet bet it is.
I'll even drive to Mississauga and buy you lunch.
Okay, deal. We're gonna do it when you buy me lunch. See what's because I think that The Last of Us remake will review well. I just don't know if the improvements are going to be enough for them to say yes, this is worth the 95, 98. Given that the game is already exists, I think God of War Ragnarok might have this is new, this is exciting, and it might edge it out in that way. But again, that assumes that it sticks the landing. But I don't know. My gut is telling me Ragnarok.
Well, my only other thing is like when I see a lot of reviews now, when a sequel comes out, they're always like, "Oh, it didn't do the first one," and they're like, "I don't know." It's just,
and that's what I mean. It could go in that direction, but if they stick the landing, I think God of War will end up.
Hey, in any fashion right now, Sony is set up for a fall to remember with The Last of Us and God of War.
Yeah, it's going to be two of the greatest games of all time coming back in some way, shape, or form is something to be celebrated. Blaze Knight over on the Discord also asks, what are some of the best PS3 classics that you would like to see remastered or remade for PS5? I feel like we get this question often, and we've brought up the Infamouses, we've brought up the Sly Coopers. I think the one that you brought up earlier today, Sleeping Dogs, I would take a remaster of that in a heartbeat, like a remake.
And Black Flag. And Black Flag.
Yeah, sure.
You know what? Mm-hmm. Or you know what? Because we got to go PS3.
PS3?
Give me Assassin's Creed. Remake that game, get rid of the janky combat, get rid of the jankiness because the story is phenomenal, and fix it. Get rid of all the follow missions that like break the game, that don't work properly because you can't sit on the bench at the very beginning when you're following that Pope and it drives you absolutely insane. And the fact that it just fix that game, remake it, and give me that game again. Yeah, that game has a phenomenal story.
It does. I really do think that it could stand on its legs again if it went that whole way. I think
it never had trophies. It's never had trophies.
Really?
Yeah. It's never had trophies. It has achievements on Xbox 360 that has never had trophies.
That is a really good point. I hadn't considered that. Yeah, for me, I think like Sleeping Dogs is the easy one. I would also like to see like Burnout come back, like Paradise. Well, like I know it's come back, but like it didn't go like the full remake route, which is what I would want out of like a Burnout Paradise, is because those games are so much fun, and there still isn't really anything like it in this current gaming landscape. Like nothing's really ever competed with it the way that it has. So I would want that. Give me Burnout.
Do you think they could? Do you think we need Bioshock redone, like the OG Bioshock? Do you think you can make that better? Because it looked, I still think that game looks and plays ahead of its time to this day.
Can I tell you something, Court? Never played it.
What the?
I've played and beat Bioshock Infinite. I've never actually played Bioshock 1 and 2.
Dude, you have no choice now. You're playing this game.
Okay, I will play it.
I will tell you this right now. Bioshock, the very first one, is one of the best games of all time, and I'm not stuttering, I'm not even thinking twice about it. It is 100% one of the best games of all time, and you, who likes some like little jump scares, you need to play this game.
I will. I remember starting it and then falling off of it for some reason. I have no good reason as to why. Yeah, it's just
like the story is so in depth. It's so crazy. Like this was the one game where I don't understand how HBO or somebody's just like, I know we're getting it now, but like how they never did it before, because the world of Rapture is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that game does deserve it. Especially if they go the route of, quality of life fixes and kind of just bringing everything up, because I think that world is super unique, and I think giving it like the Blue Point style full out remake would be really cool. I do think it deserves it. Let's get a couple more questions in. This coming from Twitter, from Mr. Midas at Mr. Midas Games. What third-party studio would you want an exclusive PS5 first-person shooter, and why? For me, because I got an answer ready to go for this one.
Wow, good. Yeah, good.
Respawn. Give me Respawn. Titanfall 2.
That's the best game of all time.
Titanfall 2 is
best story in the last 10 years.
So good. It's so good. The cause and effect mission is one of the best first-person shooters, first-person shooter missions ever. I think giving them the reins to do whatever they wanted with the power of the PS5 as an exclusive. Give me Respawn. It would be so good. I don't remember the name of the developer. Hold on. But I think the people behind Spec Ops The Line Jaeger development. I don't know if they're still around. I really don't know, but Spec Ops: The Line was one of the most memorable shooters I have ever played, ever. And I think that having them have a go with that kind of narrative, with that kind of world building, with the power of the PS5, give me Respawn or give me Jaeger, because I think those two would be fantastic to go nuts with an FPS game exclusive to the PS5. I want it. I also see Skycatcher Gaming in the chat. Need all the Tales games like Xillia and Graces. I'm guessing that's going back to the PS3 remake remastered question. Fantastic choices. 100% agreed, especially if they take a little bit from Arise and sprinkle up the worlds a little bit. 100%. What about you?
Now, for me, the studio doesn't exist anymore, and that's Irrational Games, who made Bioshock. But I guess I would let 2K, because they they kind of made Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. They've kind of made some disgusting third-person games. Mm-hmm. So why not let them make a first-person shooter?
Yeah, go to one of their devs. I'm not a
first-person shooter, like, huge pew-pew guy, but I would think that they could do phenomenal things with story and make one of the best campaigns in the history of the first-person shooter genre.
So do you want 2K to go to Rockstar to make it, or do you want just somebody under the 2K umbrella?
I would let 2K decide whether it goes to Rockstar or not, but Rockstar would be very nice.
Nice.
But I don't want to take them away from Grand Theft Auto. So that would mean they would take them away from making the game that I want to go play eventually in like the next 10 years whenever they release that
Which,
thing.
I mean, they've taken themselves away from making the remasters and remakes, apparently.
I don't want, like, CD Projekt Red made a first-person game where they did Cyberpunk, and it didn't work for me at all. Like,
Fair.
I know there's people out there that love it, but nope. I played it on PS5. I played it on Xbox. It never worked for me.
I liked it for what it was, but I wouldn't want them to do it. I just, there's too much baggage there right now.
They're the one studio, and it is Rockstar, but I'm sure 2K can get somebody else or get some people from Rockstar. Just don't take them away from. Don't take them away from what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's just they've never had a chance. Unless they've made one that I don't know about. I know Call of Juarez, is that them? Because that's technically Red Dead Redemption 1 is technically...
Call of Juarez Gunslinger is Techland. So the people before...
So no, they're not.
Dying Light.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. I don't want them doing it either.
Hey, Dying Light 2 is $20 right now, and I ain't buying it.
Nope. Would not recommend. We have one very important, one of the most interesting questions we've ever got over here on the PlayStation Drive, and I saved it for last, from the Tech with the Specs himself, Steve Begbari, over on Twitter. If you put one lasagna on top of another lasagna, is it two lasagnas or just one big lasagna, Court?
So, I would say a lasagna expert answered this question for me on Twitter, but it's definitely just a big lasagna, because like lasagna is just it is layers on top of layers on top of layers. It almost could be like, I joked, if you put crust on it, it could be a Chicago style pizza, but like for sure. But I think it's just a big lasagna. That's my call. It's just a big lasagna.
So according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, lasagna is defined as pasta in the form of broad, often ruffled ribbons. Or number two, a baked dish containing layers of boiled lasagna and usually cheese, a seasoned sauce of tomatoes, and meat or vegetables. No definition as to the order of these things. So I'm inclined, or the height. So I'm inclined to agree with you. I think that becomes one big lasagna at that point, just because, again, unless there's some sort of differentiation, but even still, it would just end up being one giant lasagna. I think that's what it is.
I don't think you're wrong.
I think we need an expert on this. I think we need to hit up the Garfield Twitter account and see what he would say, because everybody knows the definitive lasagna expert is that little orange cat, not the star of Stray, but the other one that hates Mondays and loves lasagna. But that, my friend, brings us to the end of the show. Court, if people wanted to see and hear more from you, where could they do so?
You can find me on the Bird app at Court Lalonde, or you can also find me every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern at Three Dads and a Console on the YouTube channel. Or you can find me daily on the Carpool Gaming Twitter account or any of the Carpool Gaming socials. And you can also find me on a lot of Carpool Gaming shows.
Mm-hmm. Also, I just want to commend you, Court. Don't listen to Sean. Keep using the corporate account to tweet hot takes and stuff, because it's fantastic.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
like,
just
honestly,
keep doing
like Honestly, like some of his takes need to be cut down a peg, and if his, the corporate overlord of the company that he owns
Yep.
talks back to him every now and then, it's deserved so.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a great call. I think you're doing the right thing. As for myself, you can find me over on Twitter at burnout_Matt. You can find me each and every week at youtube.com/burnoutbrighter, where we talk all things video games, mental health, and social justice. And you can also catch us over at lv1gaming.com, where our new show, Bonus Level, just went live today. If you've ever watched Bonus Stage over at Burnout Brighter, this is the same show, just brought back and revamped and now living over at lv1gaming.com. So please go check that out as well. But that brings us to the end of the show, friends. Please like, subscribe, and share. Tell all your friends. Go to patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Support in any way you can. We appreciate absolutely all of you. We will see you on the next edition of the PlayStation Drive next week. Peace out.
See you next time.
The PlayStation Drive is fueled by the Patreons who truly make us believe that anything is possible. And we'd like to thank the more than 90 patrons who support us each and every month at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. With a special thanks to our ultimate producers, Mostly Martinez, Dano, Emily O'Kelly, Dallas Ford, Trucker Soth, Jonathan Brown, who has a new album, In My Element, on Spotify and Apple Music, Drew Agnew, who is the host of the House of Mario podcast, Lee Navarro, who is the leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. The links are in the show notes. Please support these ultimate producers. Platinum producers, Brendan Myers, Becky Rubin Navarro, Skinny Matt, Robbie Bobby Miller. And then our gold members, Tom 4 NKS, Slicely Carosa, Anna W, The Snack Network, Foolish Fuji, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, Tony Baker, Mac Time, RJ Kern, Jose Jimenez, Ashley Nichols, Argo, Marcus O'Neill, and Dallas Robbins. To support the PlayStation Drive and get some awesome perks, go to patreon.com/carpoolgaming and select the tier that works best for you.